Today we are going to discuss about how do we build an multi-AI agent, which is mostly enterprise level. So before starting that, we need to understand why are we talking about agentic AI? What actually is agentic AI? Everywhere there is a lot of buzz about it. So we need to understand that. So when you want to understand that, the first thing that you would do, so you look at different use cases which are being built around this to understand. So we'll start our discussion about how can we build multi AI system. We'll take one of the frameworks that we are having, CrewAI. We'll try to understand that. So when we talk about agentic AI, first understand uh, we already have artificial intelligence. Then everybody's talking about generative AI. So we have generative AI. Now everybody's talking about agentic AI. So if you look at how the technology is evolving, slowly, we are getting something new every month, every week, something coming up. So where are we moving towards? Agentic AI is just a journey of a transition that we are having. If you look at overall transition, we are moving towards AGI, artificial general intelligence, and we have still not been able to create an a bot or maybe any AI tool which is smart than human beings. So still we are in that journey, and AI agents, like when we are talking about they evolves. Now we are talking about agentic AI. So it's just a transition of that. Now when you look at agentic AI, why do we need so agentic AI? We need to understand first what are the challenges with Gen AI model itself. So let's take a simple example. You're planning to for a holiday. You're planning for a holiday, and you want to go to, let's say, Paris. You will go to GPT model or any AI tool. You can say, okay, can you give me a 5-day itinerary plan? Maybe a week you want to visit different places. It will give you like day one you can visit. You can book book your flight ticket, with particular airlines. You can stay at these hotels. All these things it will give you. But if you ask it, can you go and book a flight ticket for me? Simple question is that, can ChatGPT do that for us right now? It cannot do. If you use even Gemini model, say Gemini, can you go and book a flight ticket for me or maybe do all the hotel bookings? Right now it is not possible. Why? Because the LLMs, the Gen AI are based on large language models, and we have a limitations. The LLMs cannot do all the tasks end to end. So we need, certain interventions, manual interventions, where certain task has to be done by human beings or maybe certain tools that we are having. The whole idea is that how do you automate this entire thing? Like you don't want to do anything, the end-to-end automation should be done. This is where we have the agentic AI coming into pictures. Now think about it. We are talking about a travel and tourism industry. Basically, what the agents are doing whenever we want to book a flight ticket or maybe a hotel, we want to stay somewhere, we go to agents and ask them to do a booking for us. So same thing here. We are building an AI agents which will do the same thing. We don't have to do anything. So these agents, we just have to tell what we want to do, and these agents should be able to go and look at the lowest fare, and then which is the most convenient flight based on our requirement. They can ask us whether we are going for a business class or maybe a general class, or based on our history of travel. Even it doesn't need to ask that, can go and book a ticket. Same way all hotel bookings also will be done. Now this is one industry where we are trying to, so basically what we are doing, we are trying to assign a role to the agents, a role of a human being, which our agent is doing manually. Now, can it be replicated to other domains? Can you do that? Is it possible? Definitely, we can do that. What about you're having an uh, a lawyer agent? What about a doctor agent, doctor AI assistant, or maybe an HR agents? So think about it. There is a lot of things which could be automated, and many of the repetitive tasks, the tasks that are very general kind of task which we repeat every day, all these tasks can be automated. Very easily we can automate all these tasks. So we'll see some example today. I will try to do some hands-on. We'll see some example how we can do that. So when we are building these agents, what is required? If you look at human beings, we are able to take the actions. So when we talk about these agents, like what is the extra thing that they are doing, what they are doing. So one is autonomous agents. They can be able to use the capabilities which we human beings are doing. Like what makes us human? We reason and we think, and then we take the actions. So these agents, they should also be able to reason. They should be able to reason. They should be able to take actions based on their reasonings, like wherever they are, on which environment they are there. So they will be getting some data. From that data, they will be using the LLM capabilities. Nowadays, we have so many large language models which are very, very good. They can generate a content. We can write scripts. We can create uh, images from that, videos. But somebody has to reason and act. So agent is having the capability of, first of all, reasoning and then taking certain actions. How it is taking the actions? By using certain tools. So these agents are like independent entities. You don't have to go and instruct them. They can decide on their own. They can take the decision on their own. We don't have to tell them what to do. So this is an example of like autonomous agent. One agent you would be having. Or you can have a multiple agents. So there would be multiple agents. They are working together and they are trying to do certain task. It's like we have an expert agent and he is doing certain task, and then it is passing on to the other experts who are looking into different tasks. So they can actually solve a complex problem. Very easily, these agents can manage everything. So if you if you see, like agents can actually replace the entire SaaS platforms that we are having. We don't need anything. We just need a UI, maybe a simple chat interface. I'll just give you one example. Let's think about HRMS, recruitment. We are having a complete HR platform for recruitment purpose. If you just build these agents, one may be a recruitment agent, one may be for a payroll, one for attendance, then we don't require this complex system that we are having now. So this is going to replace many of these platforms that we are having, and the things would be much more simple than what we have. So these agents, they will work parallelly, okay, and looking into like breaking the work, a very, very complex work into small flows, and we can scale them, very easily. We can build solutions for scaling and building end to end. Yeah. And if anybody is having a question, we'll keep last 10 minutes for question answer. So if you have any question, do park your question. In the ending, we can discuss on that. Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. And sometimes, there might be some problems, some issue these agents can solve. So there are many orchestration platforms like we are talking about. So we have LangChain, we have AutoGen from Microsoft, LangGraph is there. Then like these are most commonly used ones. So our focus for today is on CrewAI, and I will explain why it is that. Like we have AutoGPT. So there are so many different platforms. These are just a few of them which are there. So what they are doing, like what they are trying to do. So this framework is like an orchestrator. It will help you to connect with the language model. It will help you to connect with your data. It will help you to connect with different tools, and giving you some sort of reasoning capabilities. Now, our focus for today is to focus on like look into CrewAI and try to understand, how it is working. And we'll also see in demo, we'll see some example of looking at it. So what is CrewAI? First of all, it's an open source orchestration platform for building the AI agents. And here, let's say you don't want to invest much time in going and trying to write some code or maybe some script. So we have no code UI studio. If you go on CrewAI platform, there you can just like, drag and drop, maybe simply you can type something. So as simple as that, you have no code UI studio where you can very easily build these applications. You can even without, diving much into technical part, still you would be able to solve a problem. You would be able to build your own use case. Or maybe you can use a software development kit and you can use CrewAI to create the agents, to create the tools, and maybe build some applications. The most important thing here is that the scaling part, if you want to scale up. So CrewAI is enterprise ready. You don't have to worry much about that. You can scale that. It is available on all the platforms, AWS. It can be integrated with AWS, Azure, GCP, and it is integrating with different CI/CD pipelines. So that's why, it's very easy to go and use it. Now, if you go to the platform, let's actually have a look at the platform of CrewAI. So I'll just share it here. If you go to the platform, so here you can see this stabilize the entire workflow across the industry. We can build a powerful AI agent, build and deploy. We can automate the workflow. So all the major companies you can see here. Main thing, about this is that it is we can integrate with different apps, very easily, and the cloud also this could be used. So when we are talking about that, you can see we have an enterprise label. So that is, we can check this where mostly it is having integration with different applications. And the most important part, if you see the workflow, we can plan, when we can plan, we can build, we can deploy, monitor, and iterate. If you look at like each one of them, when you're talking about plan, so we can design a multi-agent, okay, uh, with particular like looking at some examples, and very easily we can go and we can build that. And there are certain libraries, certain use cases already given that template. It could be used there. Okay, so very easily by just using going through the UI studio, as you can see, where even without doing any coding as such, just writing the simple prompt, we can build applications here. And once you're done with that, you can easily deploy it here. So like in this interface itself, in the portal, so we can try to assign the agent. So already there are certain templates. We can select from there, or we can create our own that we are having, and then we can deploy these agents. And once you have deployed that agent, you would like to understand the performance, like how is that agent performing, whether it is working properly or not, or whether it is trying to uh, give a proper feedback. There is, so what is the behavior of the agent? You would like to understand all these things so you can monitor. There are certain logging mechanisms. We also have a dashboard, so we can look into the dashboard. We can get some alerts. Okay, we can understand like how is this agent doing, how it is performing. So all these things we can do. And then we can also iterate like so if you want to update something, that thing also can be very easily done. So as you can see, this is already enterprise, uh, label ready. So we don't have to worry about much. The building part is just one part. Start with planning what you want to do, and then start building that based on either you can use Cree Studio or you can use any of basic, IDs to develop the codes. and then start with deploying. Deploy also, you can go with some sort of AI, some sort of API you can use, or maybe a UI you can use. Monitoring, we are having different tools, so we can monitor that. This is just an example how, and then you can see it's an open source. So if you want to use that, you can use open source platform to build your own agents very easily. So how do you build that? First, you create a crew, like you create your own crew, and then you define the task, whatever task you want to do. So you define your agents, what agents I want, what agent I want to build, and then you define your task, which task you want to do. Okay. After that, you start, just say crew.kickoff, and your agents are started doing something. So it is very simple. We'll see the examples. And if you look at the ecosystem, it's almost integrated with all the cloud, okay, and all the LLMs mostly. So starting with the cloud environment, and then with other platform like Grok and Cursor, okay. We also have a vector DB here, Chroma vector DB. So mostly it is available across. We can connect with different LLM models, different services, different applications, and different infrastructures that are there. Use cases, all of you know that there are a lot of use cases. It can be used in sales, in marketing, we can use it. So we can build a marketing agent which can actually go and do some research and create some sort of marketing campaign, marketing plan, which we'll see in some time. It can do some sort of marketing. And you want to do some analytics, like basis of you want to find out some sort of behavior, demographic, maybe some sort of transactional insight you want to find. So you can find out, you can do customer segmentation, you can do a targeted marketing. So you want to find out the insights tailor-made, for your customers. You can do that using this CrewAI. Finance, definitely. Here also, you can find out about the most, recent tips about the stock, where you should buy or sell, about your market. So again, a lot of real-time insights can help us, either taking a decision, or maybe if you are trying to sell or buy a stock. And if you look at technology, like it could be used for customer support. Okay, you can build an agent who support the customer, maybe automation of some sort of coding task that we are doing. So we have everything available here. There's a one short video which I would like to play here, just for understanding of how these agents can be used.
Yeah, you can go ahead. I'm just putting the questions for you in the chat.
Sure,
You can continue.
sure. So there's a portal called as Artisan. If anybody's heard of this, when you look at sales job, sales job is like very personalized kind of thing, where the sales depend upon how the sales person is trying to pitch in. He would be making a lot of cold calls and build on his personal relation he's building. Now we have this company called as Artisan. So they have come up with sales agents. Now let's have a look at these and try to understand, just in one domain, how these agents used.
Sales representatives spend millions of hours tediously researching prospects, writing emails, and booking in meetings. But what if we told you it doesn't have to be that way? Introducing Ava, the sales rep artisan. Ava is just like anyone else on your team. She has a unique personality and gets to know you. She has conversations with her colleagues via Slack. She learns how the company works and gets better at her job. Except Ava isn't like her colleagues at all. Ava is a first-of-her-kind, cutting-edge AI agent trained to revolutionize outbound sales. Ava is an artisan. She prospects using her database of over 250 million contacts with 65 parameters. She crafts and sends intent-driven bespoke email sequences to thousands of prospects per month. She responds to prospect questions using her superhuman product knowledge. She self-improves using her advanced data analytics skills to adaptively modify her writing style, optimizing her conversions. She books meetings into her SDR colleagues' calendars and exports engaged prospects to their CRM, all with no human input. And she costs 96% less than hiring someone to do the job. Ava marks the beginning of the next industrial revolution and of an army of artisans we're introducing to take productivity a new heights. This isn't magic. This is the future. And we're just getting started.
Okay, so what you saw here is just an example, like we are just getting started. So now sales is like one of the very difficult job where we have to do a lot of, in person. Uh, I have to go do a cold call and then, make a phone call, have to meet somewhere. Now something, it's a very difficult job which can be automated. Now think about other jobs that, we are talking about. It could be, as a maybe as a medical rep, or maybe in marketing itself, you would be uh, building some AI agents, or you're trying to build an AI agent to do some sort of analysis of, like, as a data analyst, trying to analyze the market data, giving some sort of insights. So these are some of the examples of how, these agents are actually going to change the way we are seeing the world. Now, this is just an example. There are a lot of, other companies, many startups already working on these, and they are developing the agents. And now we have got like major companies also developing some sort of applications around this. Now what we'll do, we'll see, we'll, go back to our discussion, and we'll just try to look at CrewAI once again, and then maybe we'll go through one demo, trying to understand. So we saw that, okay, this is enterprise label. We can integrate it very easily. And when we are looking at, like, what is the core component of these agents? How are these agents made? What is the basic thing in these agents? So these agents are made up of, mostly we have three important things. One is the LLM model. So the large language model that we are having, that is very, very important. Okay. Uh, 1 minute. So very important part is using LLM model itself, because all the reasoning, everything happens from there. Then we use agents. Okay. We are trying to use agents. So agents, what they are doing, they are using certain tools. What these agents are doing, these agents could be a certain role that we are defining, and then there are certain tools which they would be using. For example, you want to search on internet, so you can use web scraping tool. The agents can use that tool, do some research on internet, bring some sort of insights from there. So these agents, they also use memory. So you need a memory. So these are the four important things that we need. One is LLM model, agent itself. Third thing are the tools. There are different types of tools. And the fourth thing is the memory. So these are the four important thing that we require, okay, for building any agent. The tools could be the task, that you're trying to do. So that could be the task that we are doing here. So if you see here, we have CrewAI is having this uh, basic, if you look at how it is designed. So here we have crew different agents, and they're using different tools for doing certain tasks. Okay, and it is giving the outcome. So the architecture basically will be around these four important components: the tools, memory, and the LLM, the model, the foundation model that we are using. So how do you define, like, how do you start? So you start with defining a role. Maybe you try to give a role, you set up a backstory, like you're trying to give it more context, kind of prompt there, tell it what to do. You define the goals, constraint, and access to the different tools and the memory which we talked about here. So these are very, very important for the agents. We just saw this, that end to end everything is there, starting from planning how we want to build this agent, then building that agent. And once we have built the agent, we can go for the deployment. And once we are deployed that, we can monitor how the agents are performing. And finally, if you want to update, something, so that also we can do that. Okay, now we'll just go through a demo. We'll try to understand how these agents are working. So just give me a minute. I will share my screen, and we'll just walk through few of these agents, how they are built, how this is used. So I'll just share my screen. Okay, so let's look at these. So how do you start? Here we'll see how do we build these agents. So we'll just quickly go through this. The first thing that we do, we start with the installation. So you have to install the dependencies. Like here, it is about installing the required libraries. So you install it. That is the first step that you have to do. So like whatever modules that is required, you have to install them. That is the step number one. So you can see it is getting installed. Quickly we'll install CrewAI. So how do we install? Pip install in Python. We go and we do the installation. Okay. Once this is done, then we'll try to import the required libraries. Okay, so installation is done. Now you start with importing CrewAI. You can check the version of it. Okay, the current version. So current version we can see. Then we import the other dependencies. Now here we start with, as you can see, we have an agents. These agents are nothing but these agents, they have certain role, certain goals. So why do you want to use this agent? So this agent will be used for doing a particular task. So the agent will be having a role, a goal, and a backstory which will define. They can have their own memory. You can build the agents. Then we have a task. Task, like agents would be responsible for certain task. They would be doing certain tasks. So we have to define the task, and then we have to bring the agents and the tasks together. Like we have to set up the crew here. So crew, what it will do, the crew is going to group the agents and the tasks together, and it will try to execute that. So, and finally, a large language model. So here we are going to use, we're going to connect with an GPT model. So we'll set up the key quickly. I'll just go here and set up a new key. So I'm just trying to create a new key, which we can use to connect with this model. I got an API. So we got an API key here, which will set it up here. This will help us to connect with the GPT model. Okay, now I can check if key is there. Yes. So we're just trying to set up the key so that we can use that. Now here is the use case. So you want to build an agent which can actually prepare a recipe. So it should be able to understand what we want, what we don't want. So in this example, it's a very, very simple example. We have mentioned that the main ingredient of this recipe should be tomato, and we don't want shrimps. That is not required. So the first thing you're doing here, you're setting up the agent. So you're putting your inputs, what you're you're just defining your inputs here. Once you define the input, so once you define the input, this is what is going to be the input. After this, what is the next step? Next step is that you have to set up your agent. So now we have to set up the agent and the task. This is what you have to do. You have to define the agent and the task which you want to do. So here we are setting up the agent, and then we will be setting up the task. The first thing, the agent will be having a role. Okay, he will be having a backstory. He will be having a backstory and memory. Okay, so this is what you have to define. So first, the LLM model that you are using, you define that. Then you define the role. This is going to be, like, he is going to be kind of an expert who is looking into the diet and giving some sort of recommendations, and description about that, and goal, what you want. So here you can see this is an culinary assistant. He is an experienced assistant skilled in finding and tailoring the recipes based on the ingredients and the dietary restrictions, whatever dietary needs are there or restrictions are there, and providing a step by step how the cooking should be done. So giving a proper instruction here. What is backstory? Backstory is nothing but a prompt actually. You're trying to give a prompt. So you give a role, given a role here, and then you're giving a prompt. So this is the backstory part that we have defined. After this, goal is to find the recipes, filter them, looking at these restrictions, and then guide. So we have defined the agent here. You can see what is the next step. Next step is that we have to define the tool. So one tool is find and filter the recipes. We give the description here. And then like here we have given the description that main ingredients, you have to go and look at that. And what is the expected output? So it should be having the main ingredients, and dietary restrictions, should be followed, whatever is mentioned. So this is about find and filter the recipe. And one, we are having a guide recipe. So this is going to guide instructions of whatever we have selected. So there is one agent and there are two tasks. This is your task one. This is your task two. Now what we need to do, we need to bring the agent and the task together. We have to bring the agent and the task together. So how we do that? We are doing that by using the crew. Okay. So the crew is going to bring the agent and the task together. So if you see down, we have the next part as a crew. So the crew, if you see here, he is having agent and the task. Only one agent is there. So if you're having many agent, you will have like agent one, comma, agent two, like this, so on. So we have only one agent. Then you have a task. Task also you define task one, comma, task two, and so on. You define it there. Okay.
What is verbose?
Verbose will give in more description of what is going in the backend. So it gives in detail, shows us the output, what is going on. That is verbose. Now, once we define these things, okay, so we are trying to bring them together. Now you can see, and then we say planning true. Let's run this. Okay, I have not run this part, so I'll just try to first go step by step. Okay, from LLM we have not run. So we'll run these cells. We have defined the agent. We have defined the task. Now let's start. So I think why, okay, API keys, you already mentioned, putting it once again, maybe. Mm, It's already. So here what we do, we are trying to connect with the API keys. And so this is all about the connection. We already have defined it on the top. Maybe I'll put it there only. Uh, so anyway, let's run that. So come back here. Once you have defined these agents, then you try to kick off. So you just say, like now we have defined the agent, like we have defined the agent, we have defined the task. What is the next step? You bring them together here. So we brought them together, agents and the task. And now what we'll say, we'll just kick off. That's it. Let them go and look on internet, like do use their own understanding and go and build this. So I'm just going to kick off here. So as we do this, they will start planning and they'll start creating the dietary plan. So
Meanwhile, do you want to address a question?
yeah. Okay, so you can see it started. So first agent came, the culinary agent assistant, and then we got the task here. Is going to find the recipe. As you can see, number of steps they have defined. Now again the agent is coming, the recipe. So here we have got a recipe of tomato basil pasta, how to prepare the ingredient of that, and maybe more description about that. So now you can see step by step, we got all these ingredient, how to prepare like sauces and tomatoes, and then add it there, combine them together, build that. And then finally, yes, some tips also is there, so which we can see. And this is about data that is generated. Usage, how much we have used, like token and all, you can get that information. Now, this is a basic example that we are having. Suppose we want to use some sort of marketing agent which can go and which can do some sort of marketing research. So we need some tool here. We have one such tool called as SERP dev tool. This is actually a tool which we can use for finding out something. So if you look at these SERP dev tool, this is a Google search tool where if you go, this is based on Serper. I think Serper. Okay, we'll just open. So you can actually go and search from here. So if you want to search, you just type something like I want to find about tea. Okay, and maybe in Austin, I'll just do a test search here. So it will give me detail from Google itself. So you want to do something like I want to find out about Agentic AI. Let's take example. Agentic AI. Okay. So you want to find out maybe in US, just and search for that. So this will give you some top results from there. So this is one of the tools that we use for searching something. Now you can see it is giving all the search here. And the data is coming in this form. This is a JSON format, which is there. So same way, we are going to use a marketing research agent to do some research on internet, bring some information for us. Start with installing that tool, like getting some sort of updates. And once that is done, then we'll start with our agent. The same thing, you need an agent, you need a task, you need a crew. And we also are using some tool here to get some more information up from internet. Now here the use case is that you want to do a market research about an energy drink. So suppose you're working with a startup and this company wants to do market research on energy drink. It wants to find out what is the potential of this product, where we can market this product, what should be the tagline, or like who should be the audience, who should be the customer. So like a lot of these things has to be done. So we have a product. The product is energy drink, and we want to build a marketing strategy for that. So what we are going to use now? We are using two agents. One is a market research agent, Second is a strategist. So the first agent, market research agent, is going to do a market research, find out about this energy drink, the potential of that, what is the market size, what is the potential of the market about energy drinks. And the second agent that we are defining here, a strategist agent, is going to make a strategy on the data or on the insights given by the market research agent. So now there are two agents. Agent one, he is a marketing person. The agent two is a strategist. So there are two agents. So there are two agents that we are having here. So you can see we have defined the role of them. Role one is market researcher, one is product strategist. Then we have given the goal, analyze the market trend for the product launch, backstory, experience in market research trend, and consumer behavior analysis. Okay. And tool also we have mentioned here. So you can see we also given it an access of a tool, SERP, the one that I showed you right now. Then we have the second example of agent strategist. A role we have defined, a product strategist, and goal we have mentioned. You have to do an effective positioning strategy for the product, and then we have mentioned the backstory that you have to come up with a competitive positioning. So now we have defined two agents, agent one, and this is our second agent. So like there are like two agents that we have defined, one and two. The second thing we'll define the tool. So task, sorry, we define the task now. So task one, market research insight. So the first task is to get insight about market, and the second task is to develop the positioning strategy of that. So first task, you give a description, browse the internet to gather the insight about the market, okay, trend, what is happening about these product, and so we mention the description and list the relevant market trends and consumer preference. So this is there. Then we try to define the positioning strategy here, create a positioning strategy of the product, include the analysis. So this is a second task where that would be used by the strategist. So we have defined two agents, we have defined two tasks. Okay, this is our agent one, this is our agent two, this is our task one, this is our task two. Okay, so this agent will be using the first task, this agent would be using the second task. So now we have got two agents like that. You can develop as many as you want. Now what we are doing next, we are trying to bring them together. So you bring the crew now. Agents will be having two agents, market research and strategist. Task also, you bring the task together, gather market insight and develop the positioning strategy. So we get this, planning is true. Now what we'll do, so we have brought all of them together. Now we'll say kickoff, crew.kickoff. So let's just run all these cells so that we can go and we can check this one. Now I'm going to run this. So it will start. Now see, I'm not telling what to do. Okay, they have to come up. I've just defined their role and everything. I'm not giving the steps. I'm just telling you have to do a survey and come. So now you can see it started, and they are going to do some sort of survey and they are going to come up with some sort of strategy about the energy drink. That is our use case, which we want to work on. So as you can see, it started, and it started, with connecting with the tool, and then there was some problem it was trying to resolve, as you can see. Okay, so now they are communicating among themselves. The market research is trying to again come up with some strategy. Okay, let's wait for it to get completed. So you can see there is a lot of communication going between them. Okay, they are trying to communicate with each other, and still I think they are trying to. Okay, this is still running. We'll wait for it to get complete, and then we'll go down and check. So they will start communicating. The market research agent will go and do some sort of survey. This is now completed. Let's go down and see. Now see, they have come up with this strategy. So first we have got this market research insight. It was talking about uh, identify target audience. So who are the target audience here? Fitness, people like between age of 18 to 34, young professionals. So, and also reasons like people who are going to gym or maybe sports participants, they would be, target for the energy drink. Student in that age group for quick energy, they would be using. Then we have the positioning statements also, like how you're going to position that. Maybe as a fitness to the fitness people, stay sharp and energized, with this drink. And for students, they are again coming. Then they have the impact also, like what should be the impact here? So for health conscious people, this is organic, uh, low calorie ingredients are there. USP, what should be the USP? Differentiating our product through innovative flavors and functional benefit. Okay. Then also like some appeal they have come up with, documentations, as you can see. So I think this was not able to complete, but yes, you can see it is able to. And then the strategies will come and do a strategy. So I think strategy also, you can see I have the rest of the part here. So they will come with the strategy and the USP also, like see a marketing message, fuel your energy naturally. So like this, they will also come up, with some of these things. We have few more examples. I think this is more than enough to at least have an understanding of how these agents are working. Okay. So we just have 10 minutes to go. We can take some questions now. I see a
Yeah,
lot of questions there in the chat. Yeah.
you do too. Okay. Do you see from your side too, Alok? I have some questions
So
myself on my side
I
too.
think Sarath, you only have put something there. Okay.
Okay,
So
so let's start with Biren Shah. I think he was the first one. Biren, I can unmute you and you can ask your question.
yeah,
I asked you
yeah.
to unmute.
Please
Please go ahead and unmute and
go
ask
ahead.
your question.
Yeah, so thanks for the talk. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes, you're audible.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So yeah, thank you so much for taking us through this. So what I was curious about is, um, in order for these agents to work effectively, uh, doesn't the agent need to have access to, the APIs from the target, um, the target software, to get the information and to process the information and then to to reason it and then come out with output. Like, what is your experience and what is in that regard? And like, do you see lots of open APIs where you can get access, or is it still an evolving field?
That's a good question. So definitely, uh, regarding this access, it depends upon the use case that you're building for. Let's say it is just a web scraping. So we have a lot of open tools available. We can do scraping at the data from internet. You want to do some other specialized task, like maybe in legal terms, you're going to looking at some legal documents. So there we have a specialized, kind of task. So we may not be having any tool right now because that domain is totally different domain. So again, as this field is evolving, so there we may not be having that. So it all depends upon mostly the industry that you're building the use case. Some industries like banking, insurance, mostly BFSI, they invest a lot of monies in this. So we have a lot of open tools available which we can use. And again, this field is evolving. So every time you will see something new coming up. Okay. So that's the thing.
Yeah,
Okay, thank
so
you.
another comment on the same. There are some government APIs for testing your modules against that generally are free. Example, City of San Francisco. Ron is just adding another comment on that same. Thanks, Ron. I know I've seen hands raising here. Guys, I have some other questions in queue. I will go one after the other. Please bear with us. If we do not answer your questions, please do drop us the text and we will answer you the questions after this session too. Or look, if this is a very famous session, we can do a part 2 of this so people can get their answers. Before I take the next question, folks, and just a second, I'd like to launch this, and then I'm sending out. There are just 3 questions, folks. Do you see that on your side, Alok? I've launched the session.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Very quickly, I'm not going to take more time. Meanwhile, we can keep talking too. I think the next one we have is Raul, R-A-U-L. Raul, you had some questions. I'm asking you to unmute. You can go ahead and unmute and then ask your question, please.
Hi. My question was related to how can I think about a practical approach. So I'm working for a company and we are planning to develop a roadmap for its AI agent. So the interface that the business team uses is a WebEx chat, and how can I and my data resides in Snowflake and Tableau reports. So what is the components involved in developing such AI systems?
So when we talk about agents, now one thing that we have to see which are the uh, like infrastructure which it is available. So one of them, like we saw for the CrewAI, that it is available across AWS, Azure mostly. So one thing you have to look at the infra part. Second thing would be the tools which you want to use. Okay, whether the tools are accessible or not. The third thing would be about the choice of the output also that we are looking for. Whether it is having some sort of components available open source or not, or whether we are looking for scaling. That would be the issue, latency of these agents, because they would be doing a lot of communication among themselves when we are building. So how much time it takes. So there are a lot of things which we need to consider. So we can look at one agent doing one task, maybe using another orchestration framework like LangChain along with CrewAI. It all depends, like, when you are building these things. So this is all about trial and error, doing some research on that, and then finding out whether this is building. So there is a lot of open source. We have frameworks available, as well as we have uh, some other frameworks where which is again you have to go for the paid version of that. So for the use case, it all depends upon like what we are looking for. If we are on particular infra, that is one thing. What is the agent that you're looking for is more important. So what kind of agents are you looking for? How do you build that? So what are the tools available with that agent? Like we saw SERP dev, like one of the tools. So you also have to look at the tools. And definitely there are a lot of open source frameworks available. So we have a lot of options to play with. We can go and check. So one thing I've seen, these agents are very good in POC, but if you see actual deployment, it's challenging still, because out of total 80%, only 10 to 15% goes for the final deployment. So POC level, it is very fine. It works well. But when you go for the final deployment, it's a challenge there. This is where, everybody is struggling with and trying to fix it up. Yeah.
If you have any further follow-up question, we'll be glad to take. Please put it in the chat. We have Surya next. Surya, I have unmuted you. Please asked you to unmute. Please go ahead with your question.
Hi, Alok. Hi, Sharad. So I have a question like, do we have control over inputs and outputs that come and go into these agents? Because if we do want some structured outputs and if we want to give some structured inputs, is that possible?
Yes. So like LangChain itself, you have to mention about your data loaders, about your format. You want the format in a JSON output, or maybe like any format that you want. You can mention that you want in Markdown or in simple TXT format. So that we can control the format of data, input and output we can control. So that thing could be done. Also, if you want to control the content that is generated, that also we can do by applying some guardrails there. We can do that.
Okay, yeah, that's yeah.
Great. Morgan, you have a question? I'm asking you to unmute. Minor.
Yes, yes, I have a really quick question. I was looking at how you were installing this the doing like the pip install and all those commands. Now, do you have to have Python running on your computer, or is the code running on the platform?
For development, the code should be running, but once you deploy that, then somewhere these agents have to be running, maybe either in the cloud environment or on the infra wherever we are running. If you want it to be, doing real time solving some problem, it has to be deployed. The deployment could be in cloud, in any of the cloud we can select, or if we are going with our local infra, then some server where we have to deploy these agents. But yes, somewhere we have to keep it running.
Okay. Okay. It would like if it's right, like if you have your own, like for me, I'm just thinking, like currently I use DigitalOcean as as a platform for like Linux, like a Linux server. Could it run from like on a server that's already in the cloud, and the code could be there and just run from there? Is that
Yes, you can deploy it in the cloud and you can run from there.
okay? Okay. Yeah, I was
So
just curious.
Awesome. Before I go to Kumar, Abhinav, Saila, you have some question. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Saila?
Hey, I just posted the questions on the chat, although I joined a little bit late. These are the questions that I have for the deployment. What is the deployment process and the security things that we can put it in place for the agents? And
So
also
for the
practical approaches or architectural guidance to implement these agents with the security in mind.
So if you look at deployment part, so we can go with any of these approach. Either we can use containers like Dockers. We can go with Kubernetes. So for example, AWS, using AWS or Lambda. And for logging mechanism, like we can do that. Also for managing this queuing and all, we can have RabbitMQ, Kafka. So all these things are like managing.
Okay.
And for this kind of thing, so we need to have some sort of mechanism where we can like configure some policy in the agent, some like we can control the behavior as well as looking into the failure, when some tools would not be working. So all these, resilience and fault tolerance are part of it. And as I mentioned, we have a dashboard where we can monitor the metrics. We can manage the logging by using ELK, or using different tools. So we can see. So like you can in the UI itself, we can see like how it is doing, and then we can integrate that with different types of tools that we are having. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Like we have a lot of control over these authentications, authorization, audit trails. So that gives us idea like how we can use it.
Okay. And I have one more question related to the data. Consider my agent is talking to the database, but the data is more secure. I want only certain agents to be in to connect to the database and retrieve the data, but not all the agents. And the data that it retrieves, it should be obfuscated basically. Just evaluate it and obfuscate. Do you have something in mind with related to this or?
So we have different tools here. For example, if you saw, we were trying to connect with the internet. Market research was doing that. So we can set up certain tools where
Okay.
we can give the access. It can access, it cannot access. We can
Oh,
control
okay.
that.
You can control the access. That's excellent. Can you give
Yes.
us the prediction code, like demo, like what are the tools that you're using, kind of stuff? May not be now at some point of time. Would that be okay?
We have a follow-up session coming up. Maybe, we can check in that.
That's great. Even the deployment process also, I've been more
Yeah,
interested in
yeah,
integrating everything together, take one use case and from the development to the deployment where we can take it to the prediction.
yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, Kumar, Abhinav, let's go with you. Your turn. There you go.
Yeah, thanks. Quick question. LLM at core, at best, right? They are approximate retrieval engines. Right? and they provide zero guarantees for correctness of the output. And this is okay when we are dealing with a chatbot kind of use cases, right? Because human is always in the loop, in control. But when you're talking about agentic, when you're talking about going to autonomous operations and straight through processing, this becomes an important question to answer. How can you work in a hands-off situation with a reasoning engine which provides zero guarantees and you have no external verifiers for the output? Yeah, so there's something which we are also talking about with everybody. So I wanted to just check what's your view.
Good question here. So right now, see, this is evolving field. When we talk about, kind of the control these agents should be having. So currently, the best thing that is there, human in loop is important. It's very, very important. Somewhere these agents can do a lot of stuff, but the final decision maker, it should be an admin. The admin should be a human being who should, do that. So when we talk about complete automation right now it is not, it actually should not be there because we this is evolving. I mean, let's say once it is evolving, at the same time what we do, we set up critic also. So somebody is trying to do some, task planning, and then there has to be a critic who is going to review everything. So we're adding a layer of kind of QC there, quality check, and maybe reviewing that. So that is one thing where if you're moving towards a complete automation, okay, have a critic at a certain level who reviews that, and then have an admin on top of that who is actually looking into everything. So that is one thing, that how admin we can have automation, like what extent do you want the admin to control? It's up to us. But yeah, like setting up different layers of reviewing the task could be one way where we are moving towards a complete automation. But right now, this is an evolving field, and still complete automation, I don't see that, because somewhere we need human in the loop right now.
Okay, awesome. I think that's all of questions, and we're already past 5 minutes, Alok.
Yeah.
Folks, we will be sharing the recording. The recording will also be uploaded on the YouTube channel of AgileFever. AgileFever and Quantum Shift is a group in Meetup. Together, we are hosting this AI sessions, free sessions. We also do have paid training sessions on agilefever.com. Please go ahead and check out. I see some folks wanted to get training. We will reach out to them, but we will come up with many more best sessions that can help you guys. Thank you all for joining. Have a good one, folks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.